Hi, welcome to Worldview Wednesday. My name's Ariel Leek.
Don't throw me like that.
So, Lauren, what's our question that we're asking people today?
Basically, what are your thoughts on the Bible?
Yeah.
And in your opinion?
Yeah.
What do you think about the Bible?
I actually had a conversation about this the other day. I think that the Bible is a great book for leading your moral life, but I don't think it's something that you should base your entirety on unless you want to base it on a moral way, but not a logical way. Mm-hmm. So if you want to use the Bible for guidance, I think that's definitely something you should do, because I think it's just a good book, like a self-help book, and it has a lot of good information. But to use it to demean others is not cool, and to make other people feel bad about themselves and to put people in a bubble because they're not your religion is not cool.
So when talking about the Bible, Christians believe that there's a historical claim to it, that what's in the Bible is true. What are your thoughts on that?
That it, for their perspective is true. I go to church as well, so I believe that it's true. It's just that I think to have that idea that it's one base, only one idea is true isn't really true.
Yeah.
But that the idea of God is true.
Yeah.
So
how can we distinguish between the different truth claims of different religions? We have the Bible, we have the Quran. How can we know which one is true?
I don't think there is a way to know that it's true. I think just living and doing what your own opinion is just the way to go through life.
Okay.
Not really I think people really base their life on deciding if something is true and then forcing it on other people, and that's just not how it should be.
How do you think, the Bible demeans people?
So people who are more biblical, they'll say that it's not okay to be gay, or they'll say that it's not in your right to have rights as a woman, and they'll say stuff like that. And then they'll say, well, I know that because the Bible told me so, even though someplace, if you read the Bible, which I've read the Bible, it does not say exactly in quotations, don't have an abortion or don't be gay. It has a lot of language that has been over time translated. Like King James Version was cut down to make it a little smaller and a little bit easier to get around with. And I just think that you can't use it because it's not direct, in my opinion. But if you believe it's direct, that's cool too.
Well, I think the Bible for the most part is I think it would be hard to make up a lot of that stuff, but at the same time, I think a lot of it could totally be exaggerated just because, you got to think with all the different religions and different religious books and all that there are out there, not all of it can be true, and I think that a lot of it could base around the same stories. Obviously, the walking on water, rising from the grave and all that, it could be metaphorical, it could be true. I was about to curse. I don't have no idea. But I think for the most part, it definitely can't be taken literally, but I think it could be taken pretty seriously. I personally, I don't believe every single word of it, but I still say I'm a Christian, but I get that's not the orthodox, normal, conventional way of doing things, so I'm not a normal, conventional person, so I don't really care,
So do you think the stories in the Bible are historically reliable?
Absolutely not, but I think that they're very, very, very good stories. I like them. Like the guy in the well, I think that's a really cool story. The burning bush, really cool story. The flood is historically proven, but I don't think that it's the way that it's set up, like a guy builds an ark and then gets every single animal on the ark, doesn't really make sense to me. But if you think that that's history, then that's really cool too. But I am also a science major, so I know how we were created evolutionarily according to science. So that's what I choose to believe. But I think it's a good moral guideline.
Okay, so how did you come to the conclusion that it is not historically accurate?
Science. I just took a lot of science classes, and I followed evolution, and what makes the most sense to me is evolution. So I chose to not be with creationism, but that's I just chose evolution.
It's a book that's been translated and retranslated, and it's probably best to take it as a heavily affiliated book of fiction, just because there's some things that should be taken metaphorically.
I would say that the Bible is inspired word from God. I don't think it's the foundation of Christianity, but it goes hand in hand with what Christians believe. So I think that God was able to provide the Bible for us to, understand a little bit more of what He has planned for us, instructions, like whether it's literal instructions or things we have to put maybe more thought into. But I think that the Bible is, the resource that God gave us to, live out our lives.
Do you think that there's like reliable historical evidence for the validity of the Bible?
I think there is some, just because you go back to ancient Rome, and I mean, even back then with the whole thing happening, because you go from how ancient Rome, I'm taking all this from a class I'm taking, so I'm like learning all,
That's awesome.
yeah, no, I'm just learning all this actually. Because you go into ancient Rome, and you look at how they made the transition from like open religion, do whatever you want, to being like a Christian-based society, Catholic, because Roman Catholic and all that. So I think historically something probably did happen. And there's always been religion. So I think that personally, I think there is some higher power. Who the hell it is, I have no idea. But I mean, I think historically the Bible does have some stuff to back it up. I couldn't name any specific example because I've honestly never even read the whole thing in full, so like I have no idea.
What would be an example of something that would be fiction in the Bible to you?
That's a really good question. Maybe the water to wine thing.
Okay.
It seems like a basic kind of thing to start off with. Like logically, it's probably possible through chemistry and but like considering it as a miracle, it may be a stretch.
Just from like a religious standpoint, which I don't even consider myself religious, yeah, I think there's some proof, but definitely not all of it. I just don't really follow standardized religion like that, so. Other works of history, they actually quote people who like historically were like around, and I mean like when they did censuses back in 100 BC and all that, they started actually taking those things into an account. With the Bible, you're just kind of taking their word for it.